Hey fans, we have a big last-minute update. Leave a like and stay until the end to understand the details. The team's management has just shown they know how to play not only on the field, but also off it. The details of Jameson Williams' contract extension have finally been released, and look, this move makes it clear that the Detroit Lions are thinking big and extremely strategically. Instead of waiting until the end of the 2024 season to decide whether it would be worth investing heavily in the wide receiver, the franchise opted to act early, offering a 3-year extension that could reach $83 million. This, for many, came as a surprise. After all, with all the uncertainty and even some drama surrounding Williams in the past, the team was expected to wait and see how he would perform on the field this year. But after a very solid offseason and preparation that impressed both the coaching staff and his teammates, the Lions made the decision and secured his future now. And best of all, the contract not only protects the team, but also creates room for new market movements that could elevate Detroit to an even more competitive level. A closer look at how the contract was structured reveals how clever this deal is. The salary cap impact is low through 2027, giving the franchise room to maintain its core roster and still pursue major extensions, such as those for Aiden Hutchinson, Jahir Gibbs, Brian Branch, Sam Laporta, and Jack Campbell. Essentially, the team has established a model that can be replicated in future contracts, leveraging the NFL's annual salary cap growth to its advantage. And here's the masterstroke. A significant portion of the value was pushed back to 2030, creating a sort of grace period that allows the team to continue strengthening and even forego future restructurings if necessary. This financial engineering is like playing chess on a board where most teams are still learning how to move the pieces. And it doesn't stop there. The deal includes a combination of predetermined option bonuses that function as planned restructurings, diluting the impact year after year. Of course, there's a price to pay in the future, but the team's competitive momentum justifies every penny. Another noteworthy detail is the protection built into the contract. Williams had already missed games in all 3 of his previous seasons, and the Lions didn't ignore this risk. To achieve this, they included active game bonuses, approximately $100,000 per game from 2026 to 2029. In practice, if the player doesn't play, he simply doesn't receive any, and the impact doesn't immediately impact the salary cap. Furthermore, the terms provide the team with additional security. There are no full guarantees beyond 2026, meaning that from that point on, the clauses only become binding on specific league dates, such as March 2027, when part of the value becomes guaranteed. This flexibility gives the Lions decision-making power and leeway if things don't go as planned. It's the proverbial hit the brakes at the right time. Ultimately, we're talking about a hefty contract, yes, but one that's extremely calculated for the present and the future. In an increasingly inflated market for wide receivers, where veterans demand sky-high fees and don't always deliver the expected returns, Detroit managed to lock down a young, rising talent with a deal that balances risk and reward. It's a clear sign that the front office is determined to maintain a competitive core while also paving the way for new deals that could keep the team at the top for years to come. For fans, the message is simple. Jameson Williams is secure, the future is being planned, and the Lions are leaving nothing to chance.
Detroit Lions fans, get ready because the latest behind-the-scenes information could represent a true turning point in the season. The search for a dominant pass rusher has gained momentum, and the name emerging as a potential reinforcement isn't just any player. We're talking about Bradley Chubb, a Pro Bowl superstar with a multi-million-dollar contract who could be about to completely change Detroit's defensive dynamic. The Lions enter Week 3 with a 1-1 record after a controversial loss to the Green Bay Packers in their opener and a convincing victory the following week. But fans still feel like they're missing that extra something to truly transform this team into a serious Super Bowl contender. And that's precisely where Chubb enters the conversation. Bradley Chubb, 29, returns in style after missing the entire 2024 season with a serious ACL injury. He's now recorded 3 sacks in 3 games, proving he can still be the same terror to quarterbacks he always was. His career speaks for itself: 42.5 sacks and 15 forced fumbles, plus a reputation for being virtually unstoppable one-on-one when healthy. In 2023, while playing for the Miami Dolphins, Chubb recorded 11 sacks and led the league with 6 forced fumbles before the injury. In other words, even with some physical challenges, he continues to show he's capable of changing the course of any game. Financially, the deal also seems viable. Chubb's current contract, signed with Miami in 2022, is for 5 years and $110 million. For 2025, the salary cap hit is around $12.3 million, which isn't considered unreasonable for an elite player at a premium position. This means the Lions could take a chance on him now, enjoy his immediate impact on the defense, and decide later whether to restructure or extend his contract long-term. In other words, it's a bold but calculated move. The big question is the Miami Dolphins situation. The team started the season with a disappointing 0-3 record, and the front office may consider restructuring, especially since it has already invested heavily in young talent like Jalen Phillips and Chop Robinson. If this scenario actually comes to fruition, Bradley Chubb could be placed on the market, opening a perfect window for Detroit to attack. To give you an idea, a trade package is already being speculated: a third-round pick in 2026, defensive tackle Roy Lopez, and a conditional 2027 pick, which could rise from the 5th to the 4th round depending on Chubb's performance. Nothing that would seriously compromise the Lions' future, but it could make an immediate impact alongside Aiden Hutchinson. And that's precisely the crucial point. Hutchinson is the big name on defense, but he can't carry the entire load alone. Chubb's arrival would force opposing offenses to split their focus, relieving pressure on the young star and giving Detroit's defensive line a balance it currently lacks. Of course, there's the risk associated with the injury history, but this could also be the move that transforms the Lions from a promising team into a nightmare for any opponent. If Brad Holmes does pull the trigger on this trade, the franchise could be just steps away from ending its much-talked-about Super Bowl drought. And now, I want to hear your opinion, Lions fans. Do you think it's worth the heavy investment to bring in Bradley Chubb, even with his injury history? Or would it be too risky to waste draft picks on this move? In my view, this is exactly the kind of reinforcement that could transform Detroit from a competitive team to a true Super Bowl contender, because Hutchinson needs that elite support on the defensive line. But I want to hear from you. If it were Holmes' decision, would you make this trade today? Leave your opinion in the comments and let's discuss it. And of course, if you like this video and want to stay up to date with all the news about our Detroit Lions, leave a like because it really helps the channel grow and motivates me to bring you more and more content.